Have you ever felt like you have these passions or these things in your life that light you up, but then it just feels like, now what? What do I do with that? How do I pursue this thing in my life? Well, you're not alone. And in today's podcast, we're talking about what to do when you feel stuck and how to get past those days when you've lost motivation. And I'm excited. It's with guest Rita Vicari. She is a dynamic creative force whose journey in art spans continents and cultures. And it's taken actually various forms from poetry to dance, but ultimately it led her back to painting. And as an art mentor at the Milan Art Institute, Rita empowers emerging artists to find their unique voice and launch their professional careers. She believes in the power of community and collaboration among creatives to foster growth and prosperity in our society. Rita's work has been showcased in exhibitions across the globe, from New York to Moscow, and her story has been featured in publications like Women's United Magazine, Dallas Voyage Magazine. So today I'm excited and I want you to join us as we delve into Rita's inspiring journey and glean invaluable insights into how to pursue and nurture your passions, even, I guess, especially amidst life's challenges. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am excited for this episode today with Rita Vicari, and I'm just excited that you're here today, Rita. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for inviting me for your amazing podcast.
Well, and I know we were talking a little bit before. I really feel like a lot of times, so many times as women, we just kind of get stuck. We feel like there are all these things that we should be doing, or all these things that, we have these like pressures that we put on ourselves. And I love that you have broken out of so many of the different pressures or these norms and saying, I'm going to pursue this passion of mine. And so I would love for you to just share a little bit about yourself, about what that passion is of yours and how you're pursuing it.
Yeah, sure. Well, my name is Rita Vicari again. I'm an artist and art mentor and a coach. And I have a very interesting story how I got into the whole art thing. I'm from Russia originally. So when I met my husband, I was not doing arts. I was, some sort of arts. I was doing dancing. I was a professional dancer for a while. And when I met him, I had to move to a different country where he lived, which was in Korea. And in Korea, I ended up having nobody around me, no friends, no family. Dancing didn't work out for me there just because always about team with me, for me, about dancing. But I realized that because of the language barrier, I couldn't connect with people there. So I don't think dancing works out for me anymore. It was sad to leave that part of my life, but also felt just about right. So I started thinking, what else can I do? And I thought, well, maybe I can just try painting. So I started the self-taught journey of, dabble into some paintings and things like that. But then we decided to move again back to the States because my husband is from the States. And almost instantly, I found the online institute that I took a program, like a year-long program. And I thought, it was never enough for me to just sit home, do the dishes, take care of the dog, and just wait for my husband to come back home. So I definitely wanted to express myself. And it was a hard journey just because I didn't have anybody around me except him. And he was always supportive, definitely was happy to help me. In the first years, he spent a lot of money helping me to just really get all the things together. He, paid for the school, and he always just told me that just keep doing it. There were so many times I wanted to just give up, but I think that support means a lot. But I also noticed mentoring other people and other people who want to go into arts that sometimes they don't get that support, and that's actually almost exactly what they need because they do it despite others despite of all the obstacles. So I feel like sometimes each one of us gets the right obstacle. I don't know if it makes sense. So I needed the support. I'm not good with that kind of obstacle of not having support. So yeah, and then we became parents after that, and that was a big challenge to find the right balance between raising a child, still being a good wife, I'm not a good housewife, honestly. But I'm trying to do it, and of course still pursue my passion. And I grew a lot as a, in business as well, so it's a lot to learn. But yeah, I'm
Mm.
still trying just to find that balance, how to do it and not take away, time from my family.
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel like that's a balance kind of in any endeavor or business, whether it has to do with art or really anything else. I mean, there is that balance there, but I do love how you talked about kind of having the support, finding someone in your corner. For you, it was your husband, which is incredible. And I
Mhm.
think for others who maybe even don't have that, but finding a way or a place to have that support, like you said, just even the encouragement of telling you, okay, you're feeling this way. And that's something that I was just talking with a friend with the other day. Feelings aren't facts. So just because we're feeling a certain way doesn't, if I feel like giving up, it doesn't mean that I should give up. That feeling
Right.
isn't my fact. It's not truth.
Right.
And so looking past those like uncomfortable moments or the uncomfortable times, but it's so powerful to have someone in your corner to remind you of that. Okay, these aren't facts. You're talented, you're good. You need to keep going, keep pursuing, keep trying.
Yeah. There were so
And I
many
think,
when he said to me, like, are you seriously like thinking to give up? That's just, that's not good. Like you've doing this you've put so much, into it. And
mhm,
then what? And then one of my favorite phrases that I really saved me a lot of times from quitting. You didn't come this far just to come this far, just like really
mhm.
continue doing it just because you already put, time and money and effort in it. Why would you stop? you know?
Yeah, that's good. That's a really good one to remember
Mhm.
because we do all go through those times where you just have these feelings of self-doubt or maybe even when the motivation isn't there to keep going. And that was kind of one of the questions I want to ask is what do you do to stay motivated? Because I feel like, I mean, for me, I like art in a different way. I appreciate art, but I am not talented to with painting or anything like that. And so, but even with the things that I create, just videos or things like that, there are times when I feel motivated and then there are times when I don't or I feel like the
Yeah.
creativity isn't there or the difference. So what do you do when you feel that change or that shift? Like, okay, I'm not feeling motivated right now. What do I do to move
Yeah.
forward?
Well, I try to teach myself some sort of discipline and work ethic, and we teach a lot of our students to do it either way, whether you don't feel like it. The muse finds you working. You can't just stop because you don't feel like it. And I always try to remember, okay, well, some people go to the office and, they might love their job, but sometimes they don't feel like doing it, but they still go because there's that outside external, not motivation, but like you have to go. And you just say, well, I don't feel like it today. Sometimes you just need to push through. And in any creativity, in any creative endeavor, it's just you. Nobody's like,
Mhm.
you doing this? Did you do this today? Or like nobody's standing above you saying, hey, like, why didn't you come to work today? You have to do it for yourself because if you start working, then your whole work stops.
Yeah.
Not a
Yeah. That's
one
good.
one one woman company, a one man company.
Right. But like that, we feel enough importance, I guess, in that sense of what we do to show up for ourselves.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did like a reel that got really popular all of a sudden on Instagram. The biggest what was it? Accomplishment this summer. It was like last summer. This summer was just showing up for my work. Like
Mm.
it felt like a big accomplishment just to go in a studio because I did not feel motivated. There was a big shift in my art career, just like change in values and things that I should be doing and should be putting, financial and, time and all of that stuff. And I was upset because I had to change things. So the summer was tough for me, and I was like just proud that I didn't sit in the couch and
Mhm.
feel sorry for myself or anything.
Right?
Well, I'm like, you have to continue doing it, and the
Mhm.
the inspiration will come if you just keep doing it.
Yeah.
One day you'll wake up and it will all be amazing again.
Right. But take that action.
Yeah.
That's one thing, even like with this podcast. And I like even for our listeners to be able to walk away and say, okay, this is something I can take from it, and this is something I can take from it. And so far, you've already talked about like finding that person in your corner to support, and even how you've shifted to become that for so many, that you're now a mentor at the Art Institute, and you've shifted that role because you know the importance of it. And then they're just taking action, even if it's uncomfortable or even if it's messy action or even if you don't want to. And I like how I think, how did you say that? The muse comes to you.
Muse finds you working.
Yes. So, but like that, it's not going to find you if you're not doing
I think
so.
it was Picasso. I might be lying, but it was like somebody, one of those guys.
Somebody that had it and knew what was going on. But it's so good. It's not going to find us just, like I said, on the couch with a bag of potato chips. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We need time to relax and reset too. But
there are moments like that when I sit on the couch. Take a moment.
Yeah. But when we give into that, and it's a continual give into that, I'm not showing up for myself. Or if you're giving into that, you're not showing up for yourself. So yeah, that the muse isn't going to find you at that point. You're not working the inspiration or the creation.
But you're sitting on the couch in a different room, and they will just leave because you're just not there working.
Right. I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss out on that spark of inspiration or that spark of creativity or even purpose. Because have you felt that before when you're doing something that you love? So when you're painting and it hits you and you get going and you get excited about it, there's just like this passion or this purpose behind it. Like, this feels right. This feels like what I should be doing. This feels like for some reason it's going to make a difference,
Yeah, it definitely is one of the signs when you get excited, or there's certain things in my art practice that happen that really remind me why I do what I do. And this is art shows that I'm doing when I really get to talk to people and show my art. And it's been also very hard on my family to do it because it's, physical work. My husband sets up that tent early in the morning. He watches their son when I'm, being there over the weekend. Like it's a lot of work, and I'm really grateful that he does this for me. So, but I definitely show him that it's important to me to do it because that's what drives me to create more, inspires me. I don't like sitting in my studio. It's a very lonely job. Every creative, we get lonely just because we're not working with others unless you have a system,
right,
like a bigger company.
Yeah.
So unless you go out and do meet with other creatives or something like that, it gets really lonely. So I already forgot. What did you ask me?
I don't even remember what I was asking.
Feeling the purpose. Yeah. So definitely, there's a saying, and it's probably like not true, but I really like it. It sounds really beautiful. Deja vu is a sign that you're doing something right, like you're in the right path. You feel like you've been here before, but it actually is like a sign that you're doing something right. So for me, the excitement and me working on a painting or talking to somebody and just feeling that warmth inside that I'm like, wow, this actually has a purpose.
Yeah, it
kind of just a lot of work to bring yourself back to it. I keep losing it sometimes. I think it's normal. So
yeah. Have you ever had those moments where you feel like you're in the trenches where whatever you're doing, whether it's something you're telling yourself or just how you're feeling overall? And I guess you kind of alluded to that, feeling that way this summer, but just kind of where you felt like, okay, I'm just sucking at this. Like, this just isn't, it's not like maybe where I want it to be, whether it's my business or what I'm creating, what's coming out of me, or the balance of it all. Just kind of, have you just felt like that? And have there been anything that you can remember, like, okay, this isn't a step that I took that kind of turned that around?
I think there's always a moment I feel like in every creative practice where when something is not working out, kind of have to decide for yourself, are you not working hard enough to get it, or it's just really not the path you should take? So it's a hard decision to make. So you're just willing to stop and think, how badly I want this. How much do I want this? What else can I do to get this? But sometimes you just kind of make a decision that, going farther and is not gonna help you or your practice or your finances, things like that. So yeah, just basically stopping for a moment and really thinking, what am I doing? Am I doing
Mhm.
am I just wanting it and not doing things, waiting for things to happen? Or and thinking, okay, well, if I really want to do it, I have to push harder. Or just, deciding that I need to try a different path. And that's,
Yeah.
you know,
I think that's good. That's really important. I mean, even kind of where you just said that, like taking a look at what's in front of me. Am I putting in the effort? Because that it really is an endeavor, being a creative, starting a business, any of those things it takes a lot of work. It's a big endeavor. And so, yes, am I putting in the work? Am I putting in the effort? Is this something I really want? And I think that does kind of maybe even tie into the last thing about, have there been moments of you doing this thing that it's kind of where it lights you up,
yeah.
that feels that rightness. It feels like you mentioned, almost that deja vu moment where, yeah, that clicks and it feels right. Well, then that might be, okay, then am I putting in the effort? Am I doing, the right things, the right next steps? Or am I just kind of relying on what's been before, or it's okay, I'm just going to coast along?
Well,
Yeah. Or is it time to pivot and make that shift? So I think
yeah.
that's
I
good.
think for creatives, the hardest thing is to put emotions aside.
Mm.
And not, my husband tells me all the time about it. He's like, you just being emotional. I was like, well, because it's my art, it's my soul. But he's like, look, in business, there's really no place for emotions. So you have to be 10 people in one person. One is
Yeah.
very cold, cold head, like really, okay, understanding. Is this not, then another one is trying to complain and saying, well, but it's my soul, like bearing your
Mhm.
soul in front of others. Like I think for every creative, the biggest struggle is to put emotions aside and really think what is good for your business.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the difficulty in that too lies in like the emotional side of it is needed for the actual creating,
Yeah.
for the for the
Yeah.
actual art or for what you're creating, because and like you said, it's an extension of who you are. It's your emotions go into it, your vulnerability goes into it. But then also like you said, stepping aside and separating that to say, okay, now business side,
Well,
this.
it's interesting, like because my day, I have to break my day in a lot of, real different as like personality wise. Some people need to work for 8 hours in the studio. I can't do that. I can work for 2 or 3, then have a call with a student, then like work on my website. So it takes, I take on so many roles in one day, and I think it helps me to stay kind of like feeling active and accomplish a lot in the day. But like from, let's say, I paint in the morning with like, really letting out creativity and being, emotional and seeing, what I want to say with my art. Then I have to like, let's say, send out a newsletter to my subscribers, to my collectors. And there I have to be, or like looking at analytics of the website or Instagram. And I'm like, okay, well, that reel didn't go well. Instead of being emotional about it, oh, nobody likes
Yeah.
my work. I'm thinking, okay, what did I do that just didn't work out? And not, I shared it. It was my soul there. But I tried to separate those emotions and think, it's actually not me. I know my art is good. I know there's people following me. So that's a sign, right? It's more about what else can I do that can, maybe attract more attention, or I don't know.
Hmm.
Please feed the beast, as I always call it, Instagram. Like, what can I do just to get more exposure and things like that? So yeah, it's a lot, but I think there's a lot of fun in it.
Yeah. And kind of, I guess, changing hats in a sense. Like, okay, I'm going to put this one on and let some of the other things go.
Yeah.
I mean, I've even talked about that before, even with just kind of the balance between work and family and the different things. And the times where I try to almost like do it all at the same time or under that same hat, kind of through the same thought train, is when it kind of gets messed up and I'm trying to do something for work but I'm feeling guilty about like my kids here doing this or that. And I have to almost like separate it and say, okay, at this moment, my focus or my priority is going to be work for the next couple of hours. And I know that my kids are taken care of. I know that this is taken care of. And so now I'm going to let that go and allow myself to like put my focus here and put my energy and my effort and my vulnerability, all of that into this. And then same goes for, I think that's the other part that's hard sometimes when you're building a business or working from home or any of the things when you're doing it on your own. Then when you want to shift into the home life, but it's like, okay, but wait, I think there's supposed to be an email coming in. So I'm just going to check my email real quick, or I'm just going to do a little bit of work. But then it's like, it's also taking away from letting my focus and my attention and my emotions and all of that be involved with my family. So I've really found that, not that I'm great with it all, but kind of like you said, almost like batching it, like, okay, for a couple of hours, this is where my head's going to be and where my focus is going to be. And I'm going to allow that. I'm going to allow this shift in perspective and priority. And I think that's kind of like this ebb and flow more than this equal balance, of kind of everything equal, everything the same, but just this ebb and flow of where does my priority need to be right now or my focus need to be right now? And then take some time to do that. And I feel like work is better when that happens and home life is better when that happens.
Well, that's the hardest thing for creatives, like to just be disciplined. I know my son goes to school from, 8:30. He leaves at 8:30. Then I walk my dog and I like check my messages. So I have time usually till 4 and I try to do all of the things. So on the computer, like everything I can do before I pick him up from school. And you have a lot of kids, right?
I do. I have 6.
And so it's like, I can't even imagine, like my one takes so much time and, I'm complaining. He's great. Like he goes to school and things like that. Some women try to do it like homeschooling or do it, from home. And I don't know how that works for them. Like, honestly, for me, when he's home, I can't do anything else. It's just him and mama come here, mama come there. And it's a lot. Well, he's only 4. I'm sure when he grows a little bit, it will be easier, but I do want to like make sure, okay, I reply to all the emails, all the messages and things like that. So from 4 to, I don't know, 9, I'm really like paying attention most of the time, only to him unless something really comes in. So yeah, I don't really have an advice for people with a lot of kids. I have a lot of a couple of students who had like, they were single mothers and they had like 4 kids. And we were like going through their scheduling. Some of them were homeschooled, some of them. So we were trying to figure out where they can get the help. And sometimes people don't even realize how they can structure their day and who can they help, who can they ask for help. Sometimes you do need to ask for help. It's not like it's all on you. You need to show the importance of what you're doing to others. You need to say, this is important to me. And for this amount of time, I need time for that and for this. So where you can take the help, like me and my husband would kind of like learn how to help each other. Like if he needs to go to work and I have to take, like we really talk a lot. Like, okay, I can't do it today. You do it tomorrow. I have a call. I really need you to take care of him. So it's not like, sudden, take care of him and he's all stressed and because he has, a lot of work too. So
but it's that communication. I think it's open. And I think even that goes back to showing up for yourself. Like you said, valuing the work that you do, showing up for yourself. Some of showing up for yourself is asking for help or finding the person that is able to support, whether it be family, whether it be, if you, don't have family around, finding, a group of people or other moms that you can exchange, helping out each other with or different things, but showing up for yourself by planning time for you to be able to show up for yourself. And I think that's really important. That's a good thing. And then just the open communication with the people that are your support. That's Really, that's how my husband and I do it too. So our youngest are 4 years old. So I get that. They're actually two boys. We have twins who are 4.
Oh, wow.
He has them right now because they haven't started school yet until this fall. But just that, knowing that like this, that certain things are on my schedule today, on my calendar today. So we take turns and we switch off and make it work.
No, for sure. Like a good communication and just thinking, like you said, like maybe finding other moms or groups that, what can you do to free up that space for your work? Because if you try to raise kids and not ask for help and do the work, you'll get even more frustrated because you won't be good at anything. Sometimes I feel like I fail at all of my 3 jobs, which is, I always say I have 3 part-time jobs. Part mom, first one part-time job. Second one is artist, and third one is, a mentor and a coach. Because, right now I have like 16 students. They're all over the world, in all different time zones. And I want to give them that attention. I became a mentor because when I lived in Korea, I didn't have anybody to ask an advice. I was so lost and I didn't know who to turn to. Nobody knew anything. So I had to I didn't like that feeling of being alone. So I love mentoring because I can be that person for others, and help them to grow as artists. So yeah, I feel like sometimes it's not working out for me. Like I'm frustrated because of my business, so I take it on my kid, not in a better way.
Yeah, that's
And frustrated. And he's like, I tell him, I'm not feeling well today, and I'm a little stressed. And he at 4 years old, he understands something. But I tried to explain to him that it's not him, and I'm a little, tired or something like that. So communicating with your kids also helps. They're not like newborns. They don't understand anything. And the younger you start telling them what's going on with you, the better they can understand what's going on. So.
Right. Yeah. And they do. And they feel, that's the crazy thing is they feel it. They already know. They're very intuitive and they understand. And especially with someone that they're connected to, they're very intuitive to feeling if something's off or different. So being able to just being open and honest about all of that, I think is important because it also helps teach them that it's okay to express how you're feeling. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to walk through it. And this is how I'm going to do that. This is how we're going to walk through it or overcome that. And I think that's really good. And even just kind of like we were saying, I mean, you're not alone. All of it. I think even if you're not a mom, there's definitely times when you can feel like you're failing in all the different areas. And then I feel like, especially as a mom, there are moments of that. But I think that's why it's important to find the support and then find the times, kind of like you said, this is where I'm going to shut off work and be present. And even if I'm going through something or even if there's stress on me, it's taking those times because our kids will feel it or feel the difference, but they know that I am making them a priority.
Yeah, but also I think a lot of people think, well, if I tell them I need to work, they'll think they're not important. You actually shown now that your work ethic, that there's something there. Like my son is, we had a joke because I was taking him to school and he's like, why am I going to school? I'm like, because, daddy's going to work. And he's like, and you're going to paint? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to work. He's like, no, you're not working, you're painting. I'm like, Nico, this is my work. I'm trying to explain to him that, painting is fun. Or when I have an art show over the weekend, I'm like, I'm going to miss you. But this weekend I'm going to an art show, and he's really respectful of that. He knows that it's important to me. And I think it shows him how to pursue a passion. Yes. When he grows up, he will know that what it's like when his mom and dad, worked and had, I don't know how much possible word, but I definitely want him to see that.
Or even just seeing you put in, this is something my mom is passionate about, and it's something that she pursued, and it's something that she did put the work in, and I saw her do these things. That gives them the message that there's something that I'm passionate about. I can pursue it. I can put in the work and, follow those dreams, and it could become something that's profitable also, which is great, but it stems from something I'm passionate about. And I think that those two going hand in hand is really what we want for our kids. We want them to be able to do something that they love and that they're
You
passionate
know,
about, that also is able to provide for them or be profitable.
yeah,
They're not stuck in something that they don't want to do.
exactly. Well, I see people that are like, they never even thought of like, well, being passionate about something because I don't think
Mhm.
they've ever seen it. I don't blame anybody, but there are just some people that, like I said, if they stuck in jobs that they don't love and they have kids who see that their
Mm.
dad and mom are like zombies in the morning going to a job that they hate, and then they don't see anything else. They either see it and like, I don't want to live like this, and they will do
Yeah.
something
Yep.
else.
Hmm.
You know how parenting, it goes two ways, either going against what they saw or following the footsteps, basically. So yeah, we definitely want the best for our kids, and I want him to do what he loves when he grows up, because life feels so much fuller when you just do what you love, you know,
Yes,
rather
for
than
sure.
like when you do something that you hate, you're just kind of wasting time. So
Right? And it feels like that. It feels like, okay, well, my day's wasted or my week's
yeah,
wasted, or you really don't want to get down the road and feel like my life or all these years were wasted.
yeah.
But kind of speaking of that, like, do you have any, like, before we go, any kind of practical tips or ideas on that for someone that maybe wants to start pursuing something that they're passionate about, some of those passions, but maybe aren't sure where to start, aren't sure where to begin?
Like they don't even know what they are passionate about, or they kind of have an idea but don't know where to start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they kind of know, okay, these are things that I like to do, but now what?
Now what? Yeah. Well, I basically think the best thing to do is to find a community that does that thing, whatever that is. I don't know if you're passionate about, music, you go and find it can be an amateur community. You don't have to start like really professional. But I think finding a community, like when I do shows, especially, I talk to a lot of artists
Mm.
because they always tell me what they doing, and that gives me an idea that I can try it too. So if you really don't know where to start, I think you just try to find look even like the better thing to actually find it locally, where you can like physically go and spend time with people and just hear what they say, what they're up to, and maybe talk to them and see what steps they took to get where they're at. There are also moments when you go into those communities and you're like, well, these people have been dreaming about things for decades, but doesn't seem like they're doing much. So you basically go and find another community. So I think for me, I didn't know where I wanted to do. Like you said, like I wanted to be passionate about something,
Mm.
but didn't know where to put my time and effort into. I painted a little bit when I was a kid. So I was like, maybe I'll try it. But I definitely thought, oh, it would be great if I did graphic design. Maybe I should learn graphic design. Or I actually would love to do like makeup, the costume design, like
Yeah, okay.
not that makeup for like, to go out, but that like cool elaborate. And I was like, whoa, I have to learn. So you basically just kind of find what you want to do. And internet is of course amazing. It has so much. You can always start with YouTubes and things like that. But just staying curious and finding one thing and if you take one thing out of a video or meeting with a person or community and trying something again, it's a chain that will take you where you want to be. But you have to set yourself on that path. Just sitting
Yeah.
and, you know, just dreaming about it. I thought
Waiting.
somebody's gonna show up and help me. How it actually happened with dancing. Like I was like, I don't know if I want to do it, but somebody just dragged me into dancing. And that happens too. But in painting, I was waiting for that moment for somebody to come and save me.
Yeah.
um, so I just, started
Mm.
following the chain of what next. And sometimes you do hit the wall and you're like, okay, well, I did a lot of things that still didn't lead me anywhere, but really staying just active and trying things and trying. There will be a lot of closed doors, and that's normal. So you're really testing your passion through those closed doors. And just, I think the best thing is really just talking to people. I learned more through talking to people than internet or just like video.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
finding those groups or communities where you can
Yeah.
just face to face have a conversation. But I even love how you just said, like, just stay curious and try things.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't have even been able to pursue this if you hadn't tried painting again. And we're like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna start. And if it hadn't have worked, you would have pivoted and done something else. But
Well, the funny thing is, because for 2 years I was saying, I'm just doing it before I find a real job. That's what I was. Well, it was just so funny to me. But that we all come from different places and in different situations in life. Mostly I meet people. I always wanted to be an artist since, my childhood. And that's normal. That's normal that I didn't want to be an artist. Some, I love communities. I love working with people in teams. So I didn't see how I can do that by sitting in my seat all day long. But you really like being an artist. It means so many things. You can do so many things with other people. You don't have to sit in your studio and be alone.
right.
You art studios together. You can find partners. You can find coworkers if you want that. But yeah, like I think for just start doing something. That I remember my dad told me, how are you going to figure out what you want to do in life if you want not trying things? I'm like, Dad, I don't want to waste my time. I want to find it. Like,
Yeah.
I want to
And
do
staying
it.
curious and open to, okay,
Yeah.
what are these things? What can I make happen? Where will we go from here? Yeah.
So, but after 2 years of doing art before I found a real thing, actually sucked me in so much. I'm like, well, I already spent 2 years on it. So,
Well, that's nothing now. Let's just go.
well,
I love that. Well, thank you, Rita. Thank you for being on here, for encouraging me. I'm excited. Like, I want to go try some new things now. And I'm already doing something that I love, but I'm like, let's go.
yeah.
So I know that this is going to be helpful for so many. And that's really what we want here at this podcast on Radiant Womanhood, is for all of us women, as we come together and as we listen and we have these conversations, to know, you know what, it's okay. It's okay to try something new. It's okay to be curious. It's okay to experience different things and then say, this is exciting for me. Let's pursue it. And so just seeing someone that has done it and is doing it and is even taking others under her wing and mentoring them and coaching them, I think is a really beautiful thing. So I appreciate you being on here today. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. It was amazing. Thank you for hearing me out.
It was fun. Yes, I just wish I could paint like you. I mean, my figures are like little stick figures. It's kind of funny, but I
Wow.
also find it really like inspirational and fun to watch. So this was
My
a fun.
mentor always says, the founder of the institute, she always says talent is overrated. It's only hard work that matters. So
Mm.
I've seen people doing amazing things. They've never, touched a brush or pencil and they did it. Talented people don't value their talent. When a person puts in the hard work, they will never back up from it. But I've seen people backing up from that talent because they got it from God or universe, something, or their parents, if it's genetic. But really hard work is what puts value on everything that we do.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
No, thank you so much.